Alright friends, welcome back to Tactical Enlightenment. Watching another episode of our Expert Tactics series, showing some of the most difficult battles I've faced in my campaign, and then deploying complicated and unique tactics to overcome these formidable challenges. Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment, your YouTube channel dedicated to showing you huge battles, and then also showing you tactics, how to win those huge battles in this amazing game called Bannerlord. Field command, of course, is critical. When you get to this stage of the game, you can run around as a soldier, but the bottom line is that the artificial intelligence is not terrific. It will do stuff that makes you shake your head or want to throw your mouse against the computer or whatever else console you're doing. It does some pretty bad things, so you really want to get to the stage where you can command your army in a competent manner. So here we have a castle that's being besieged by Khuzait. Looks like a very large force. Got some reinforcements heading my way here. This guy's, he's a little out of the way. But I should have about 1,700, and whoops! Besieging Calradia Castle. This is Calradia Castle. Yeah, so this is happening a lot now at the end of our campaign. I say the end of our campaign because this campaign is now, he's got more units coming. This campaign is a game, the same game that I've been playing now for over a year. And we are at, I think, day 5,500. It's a very late game campaign. I'm actually the grandson of the original character. We've gone through, 70, 80 years of game time. And the enemy at this stage, we're at war with everybody. I should preface that, anybody that doesn't somehow know. And the enemy is literally running out of castles and cities to attack. So we're being basically squeezed in on all different sides by the enemy here. So I've got a good-sized force here, 1,800, right? But it's really odd to see a Khuzait force with the Vlandian force here. And, it's more than twice the size of our force. So we'll run at 50% player damage just so that I can continue to command throughout this battle. Like I said before, if you're running artificial intelligence for a battle like this, you get disaster. And this is very, very good, folks. So look how far away the enemy is here. Let me assign some captains. Actually, I'm just going to stick them in the 8th Corps. Look how far away the enemy is. If I can get to this ridge, this top of this ridge here, let's see, make sure this captain, this is my defensive captain of the 3rd Cavalry. When I edit this later on, I will show all the units and kind of how I use them. But strategically, looking at the battleground here, if I can get to the top of these hills here, set up archers, set up our forces in a really good defensive position, the enemy is in bad shape because we'll be able to shoot downhill, our infantry will be able to run downhill, and of course their horse archers, it's Khuzait, so they should have horse archers. I don't know if they're going to have 20 or 200. We're seriously outnumbered here, but look at these positions I can stick archers in. So we'll stick the 5th Corps way over there, spread them out. 4th Corps right behind me on this high rock. It's like defending, Mount Rushmore or something like that. We've got this huge precipice to fire down. I can stick my 6th and 8th Corps over here on the right flank as well, and then a big tranche of infantry right down the middle. And my cavalry, I'll probably be using both to defend our troops. Yeah, and these are horse archers. And also attack these fucking horse archers. So this is a really unique battle, strategically, because what we're effectively facing is 2 different kingdoms on a large scale. So you see all these Khan's guards and heavy horse archers. Well, these are Khuzait troops, but the battle, look, here they come too. They're gonna have banner knights. Oh shit! Kill my own guy. I lead all of Calradia in times killed own people. I've definitely killed my own troops like more than any other commander. Get a little reckless with the javelins. So the point though is that we're going to be dealing with, it's a strange situation here. We're going to be battling horse archers, but they also have nasty heavy cavalry as well. So this is going to be a really interesting battle. That said, you see your position already. Their guys are shooting uphill. And if you don't know how the physics of the game works, it basically archers do less damage going uphill, right? Because they're losing speed towards the top of their range, and you can shoot further up here. So you can do more damage shooting downhill. And of course our infantry will be able to run downhill. You can think of it like momentum. If you're trying to punch uphill, you can't really get any inertia into your punch, but if you're punching downhill, your whole body weight is behind it, especially if you're moving downhill. Imagine somebody running down a steep rock face and then punching you with the big roundhouse at the end of their run, right? They're going to obliterate you. That's the advantage we have here. Our cavalry charge down here, our infantry charge downhill. This guy gets beheaded. Oh, good block, dude. I ain't gonna keep you up for very long, though. So these guys, basically, all of our troops have an advantage from being in this position. Archers are shooting further. In some cases, their archers probably can't even reach us. Now, keeping an eye on their horse archers. Another advantage, at least so far with this spot, is that the enemy doesn't understand or doesn't realize how to circle us with their horse archers. They've got banner knights and their heavy cav just sort of cycling down there, but it looks like they're hesitant to charge, and who could blame them? You're not gonna have a whole lot of success in this situation charging uphill, right? They're gonna cavalry charge slow uphill, right? If you don't know the difference in Bannerlord, you must not have been on a horse very much, right? When you're downhill, you go so fast it's almost reckless, and when you go uphill, you feel like a snail. Well, all of these advantages are going to help us at least at the beginning of this battle, and as that's such, right? The longer we can hold this ridge, the better. I'm going to defend this fucking ridge to the death. We're not giving up an inch here. We may retreat momentarily, but I want to keep the top of this ridge ours for as long as I can. So they finally charged, and like a dumbass, they charged right into our cav wall, where they all got stood up like Brooklyn rush hour traffic. Now they're all stuck and stopped there. They're all fucking held up basically for our archers just to unload on them. So the enemy, they must be getting cav archers back here, because I see Khonsguards getting shot off their horses. Yeah, here they are. They're kind of circling like in a big wide arc though, and they can't really get a good line of sight on us. So far our positioning is gold. Not only do we have the best spot to kill our enemies, but we get to enjoy this beautiful sunrise or sunset or whatever the fuck it is while we rain death on the enemy. I'm just going to be doing a lot of skirmishing this battle until now. Okay, so their vanguard's coming in. I'm going to kite. I'm going to move troops back. I got the first corps over there. I'm going to move my cav shield back. And what I want to do is I want to suck in their vanguard here as far as I can. Got to get these cav away from me. Let's move these cav higher up the hill. It's a big vanguard. It's really interesting to see. It looks like there's dark hands mixed in with Vlandian sharpshooters. It's a really unusual mix. It's not something you see every day. Look at the spot that we have. We are just raining down death. These guys don't even know what's hitting them. Well, except that dipshit there wasn't even looking. Now I can send in my 6th, 1st, and 8th Division. There's a cav square to sort of distract them so that their infantry corps, it's a huge corps, right? It's a huge amount of infantry. They get kind of divided and distracted by that cav square, and now we're going to fly into melee. You know, again, I'm swinging downhill. These guys don't even know what's hitting them. They just know that they're being pounded over the head by a weapon. They're like, they have to look straight up in the air even to see where we are. These fucking stubborn sharpshooters. God damn, they're tough. Hey, you know what? Fuck these guys. I'm gonna go kill your friends. Sometimes you just want to ignore people that are defending heavily and look for people like this that have their back turned to you, right? If you're a two-handed weapon guy, you really should be in the midst of the enemy's line, preferably behind it though. All right, they're either okay, they're just cycling. Sometimes the enemy in a line like this will cycle sort of back and forth, and you can't tell if they're regrouping or retreating or something else. So I got archers down here facing us, so I'm going to use this cav shield wall again. You've seen me do this. Instead of them being in a square there, I'm now shifting them into basically a shield wall here to prevent a lot of these archers. God damn it, these people running right in front of me, man. My own troops get in my way a lot. And that's one of the hazards of having your troops follow you with F2, is they will literally get in your way trying to follow you. I want this cav shield wall to basically repel a lot of these heavy horse that are charging up the hill. You see they're in a nice line there, but also get in the face of the enemy archers so they can't just pound us with crossbow bolts. Meanwhile, we're just going to keep on letting inertia work, right? We're just going to keep charging down the hill. One of the most beautiful things is when you have a cav line like this and the enemy infantry is kind of jumbled up on it. They have an infantry line behind it. That's kind of odd. Let's see if we can get some flanking fire on it. We'll get the 6th and 8th Corps off to the enemy's left. See if we can, our right hand here, and see if we can't get some shots around this cav wall. What you'll see though is you'll see the enemy infantry trying to attack your shield wall cavalry, and you can just send in your heavy infantry, and these savage two-handed axe motherfuckers will just go in and obliterate everything that's not moving, or that's still moving. Now, I don't want to get too far down this hill because the enemy's probably going to get reinforcements at the bottom of this hill. We want to maintain elevation. I'm kind of at the upper limits of where I feel comfortable carrying the momentum of this attack, right? We have the momentum, but now we're on flat ground. In fact, it's already time to address some changes here. I've got this cav wall sort of making it easy for us to retreat. Our archers, very beautifully, are still raining death from all the way up there, but it's time to pull back the 6th and 8th Corps. Let's just set these guys up on the mountain a little bit. We want to stick close to our archer support. I can catch a taxi here. The enemy's kind of shell-shocked. They're in a defensive line. They're probably trying to prevent this avalanche they just saw from totally clearing through and wiping out all their troops. Unfortunately for them, that's the worst strategy, right? Because we're going to seize that time to regroup our troops, only we're going to be regrouping with elevation, right? The enemy really, if that was a real AI or intelligent person, what they should have done as soon as we started to look like we were going to turn around, they should have pursued like maniacs. But alas, no chat GPT here. It's just Tailworld's sketchy AI. I got this cav shield wall that I put up here just to help us retreat. You can consider this kind of like the military example of a rear guard. For hundreds of years, the military theory, especially across Western Europe, was any time that you had a large army in the field, usually, of course, much bigger than ours, we're talking 20, 30, 40,000, but we can use this battle as an example. Anytime that you had a large army, you would have both what's called an advanced guard and a rear guard. The advanced guard, of course, was a combination of different abilities, but partly they moved quickly. They could attack if necessary, but in some ways they were just kind of a scouting guard. They would come up, they would sort of assess the situation, determine whether or not there was a significant threat or something where we needed to pull back. Napoleon, all these generals, Frederick the Great, all these great leaders, they all depended on an advanced and a rear guard. And in that situation, I know it happened a while ago. I'm droning on and on about it here. The point, though, is that a rear guard is highly beneficial, and you can use that in Bannerlord when you're retreating. Right, they're a little bit sacrificial, but a good cav wall and shield with shield wall up, right? Heavy cavalry with shield walls. They're outstanding at letting your troops get the fuck out of Dodge without 3/4 of the enemy pounding them in the backs as they retreat. Right? There's a handful of infantrymen here. I think I'll probably just kind of let these guys go. Sometimes when you have like 10 or 12 guys skirmishing, it's not a full division. It's actually better off letting them just charge in. They're already in the face of the enemy. They might as well get some kills in before they die, because at this stage we need reinforcements. Anyways, not to belabor the point, but develop yourself a rear guard for situations, for battles like this, because these kind of battles go back and forth. When you're fighting battles in your campaign of 700-800 people, you don't have to worry about a rear guard, right? Because there's one wave of reinforcements. Sometimes there's not even any reinforcements. It's just the troops that you have on the field. That's all that's going to be in the battle. Just pounding their forces as they attack our rear guard here. I'm kind of acting like a rear guard myself. This is a lot of infantry, though. We're going to have to address this. I think we will try to pull in this big vanguard and then attack it from the sides here. Again, I have this lovely position uphill. I have the 6th and 8th Corps, and then I have these archer divisions. Now, notice they're all standing with just weapons, right? They don't have any bows out. That's because these guys are out of arrows. These are Britannian Fian champs that decimated the enemy for the last 10 minutes with arrows. But now they are highly useful shock troops for this enemy wave coming uphill, right? We want to continue to soak it up. I've made a cav square, and what we're effectively going to do is attack this from 2 or 3 sides again with these Britannian Fian champions. I'm just treating these guys like infantry. For all intents and purposes at this stage, they are infantry. So they go in with the shock troops, and you just tell everybody to kill. Right, you can just give them the charge command. If any of them do have arrows left, they'll shoot it before they charge. It's kind of like how they would discharge their gun and then run in with bayonets. We'll have these guys fire off the last few arrows, and now they just become part of our avalanche down this hill. Get off, bitch. We could just pour in with a combination of our nasty 6th and 8th Corps, the remnants of the infantry and cav divisions that were left, and now we have like 50 or 60 Britannian Fian champs foaming at the mouth, two-handed weapons out, just going totally crazy on the enemy, and it's another avalanche of death for the enemy here. Again, they're fighting downhill. Our guys have all the momentum. And the upper right screen tells you everything, right? We're fighting an enemy that we're fighting at least 2 times our number, and we are destroying them. You can actually see their units getting shoved downhill. This is almost like an emergency cavalry charge here by the enemy trying to plug the dike. I can almost picture it being like an intelligent commander on the other side. Holy fuck, we're being absolutely steamrolled. We can't stop this fucking stream of enemies coming downhill. Send everything. We have to try to stop this steamroller. I mean, they would just be absolute panic, emergency mode. Us, on the other hand here, I can let these Battanian Fiend champs play this out to the bitter end. These guys are out of ammunition. There's no point retreating them now. A lot of them are badly injured, and they're also right in the face of the enemy. So I'm just going to let those guys get their glory on. They can all be knocked unconscious or whatever. You know, they can go down swinging while we reset our 6th and 8th Corps. I got my 6th and 8th. Those are my most precious units in a battle like this. And I'd like to reserve them for later in the battle still. I say later in the battle because I know it seems like a long, chaotic battle already. But what was it, 4,600, 4,500 troops? Here come my reinforcements. This is our first wave of reinforcements. You know, this battle might be another 20 minutes still, even 30 minutes in some cases, because the enemy probably still has 2,000 plus troops coming. And protect these guys from some of these horse archers that are back here. I see the Battanian Fiend champs still getting kills down there. They're dying in glory. And up here we have our 6th, 8th Corps, and I think I have one small cav division left of the remnants. And they're all just sort of skirmishing with these occasional cav charges. Situations like this, I can't afford to be aggressive. In fact, I'm going to pull these guys over the ridge here. This ridge is doubly valuable. Not only can we be on this side, right, shoot downhill, just get total elevational advantages, but we could pull right over the edge of this ridge. Okay, I don't want these guys coming down. Yeah. Except the enemy's a long ways away still. I guess we can... Let's just stretch them out here and kind of see what this looks like. What I need to do, though, is get guys up here, get reinforcements up here that have ammunition. Because if I bring these troops up here and they don't have ammunition, we're just standing there like a fucking scarecrow. And the enemy is just going to shoot at us from below, attack at us from below. Critical to any range attack like this is you need ammunition. Now, it's not, you're not helpless without ammunition, right? We could still charge, and we could still charge downhill. But given that we're outnumbered 2 to 1 or worse, you know, we need to have ammunition. They're firing arrows up here. I'm getting hit with stray arrows. So one of these reserve corps, you know, I need to spread out and basically use their ammunition. It looked like it was this. I couldn't tell if it was the 2nd or 7th Corps. Okay, yeah, so it's my 2nd Corps. I got 48 guys. The way I know it's my 2nd Corps is because before, that used to be all cavalry. Those guys are all unconscious, dead. Oh shit, they got a pretty good surge coming here. So those guys are all unconscious or dead. Now it says archers, so I know those guys are new to that division. Those guys are now archers with ammunition, and we're going to be able to use them as such. All right, so the enemy's sort of steamrolling the handful of troops that were still left, but they're also steamrolling them right into the lion's den here. I've got these heavy-duty troops right on. There's 8 guys there. Those are those are probably the Battanian Fiend champs that were left from that crazy charge. Now we can have everybody charge, and the enemy just charged up here with no archer support, literally right into the jaws of death, because we have 120 or 130 reinforcements. We have the 6th and 8th Corps. A lot of these guys still are fine. They're not super healthy. This fucking guy's chasing after me, trying to get there's a price on the Jarl's head at this point in our campaign, right? 10,000, 100,000 dinars if you can take down the Jarl. And so they come after me like crazy. See, look at our forces. These guys were right over the edge. The enemy can't shoot them. And again, now they're coming through. If you've been watching the beginning of this battle, the middle part of this battle at all, it looks very similar, right? Again, we're just a waterfall of troops pouring our way towards the enemy. And now I think we can use this momentum. Now I think we have enough momentum here, enough troops. We have a decent amount of archers. I've got these guys here. What are they? That's the 5th Corps. There's still 25 Battanian Fiend champs that I have now following me. I'm going to send these infantry downhill, charging downhill, right? So they're doing more damage. They're steamrolling. And behind them, I can have this 6th and 8th Corps. Here, we can set the 2nd Corps on the wall over there. And I'm going to have this division of Battanian Fiend champs just basically following me, killing anything that's in our way. I got some horse archers over there. Not too concerned about that. They're probably going to be fucking with our archers some, but these are middle-tiered troops. And just cut through most of these guys. Most of these guys are fodder for our archers. Like, our archers are going to be killing these guys if they get a hold of them. I don't want them up here just harassing my archers, though, so I can definitely kill a half dozen of these guys here before I resume with the avalanche with the rest of my troops here. So they're still steamrolling. I'm watching the death spam. Even when I can't see the enemy, I know what's happening. If there are Battanian Fiend champ deaths happening still, this fucking guy, fuck you. Yeah, I'm gonna wipe your ass fucking out. Down goes your horse, hit in the head, fuck you. So I see Battanian Fiend champ deaths. The only way that's happening still is those are the guys still in that final mass. I see 72 guys there that are still part of that surge downhill, and there's probably a handful of Battanian Fiend champs left in there. So they're being thinned out now, right? These guys have now been fighting for like 2 solid minutes. We can join them here and try to make this final push. But the point was I could break away and know what was happening still there. I got archers there, that's good. These guys are still doing damage. I really got to watch my health at this stage. I can't help it sometimes, though. I just got to support my guys. You got to lead by example, right? We're going to be in the trenches. Now, I may have the best fucking villa. All these guys have little hovels, but when it comes to battle, we're all equal. That's another famous Napoleon quote. To cannon, all men are equal. I don't have much of a wall left. I got my 6th Infantry. Some of those are reinforcements. A lot of those guys are actually behind me. It says 72 guys, I think, but most of those guys are behind me. So I'm gonna take a look here. It's light cavalry at this stage, or sort of medium-heavy cavalry at this stage. But these guys are really causing problems with our archers. Of course, when you're fighting Khuzait and Vlandia together, they're going to have a massive amount of cavalry, and that's proving to be accurate. All right, so this is those 76 guys here, the 6th Corps. And when reinforcements are coming up, by the way, always move them in line formation. If they're in shield wall, if the rest of your troops are in shield wall, they will approach the battle holding their shield up like a dipshit the whole way. The artificial intelligence is not good enough to understand there's no threat. I can put my shield down. It just will trudge hundreds of meters with their shield up in the air, and your guys will take fucking forever to reach your front lines. Got some archers here with this reinforcement batch as well. I've even got a few horse archers. Now, when your reinforcements are coming up like this, you don't want to be aggressive and attack, right? Because you have to think about, if I have 300 men on the battlefield, that's about what we have this whole fight, right? They have 700, we have 300. Maximum 1,000 units on the scene or on the screen at once. That's just part of how the game is designed. If I attack with half of my force, that means I'm attacking with 150 guys against, like 300 or 400 minimum, right? Very, very bad odds. So the enemy has finally surged up to this edge, but that's bad news for him, right? Because I have reinforcements pouring in here. Look how thick our lines are. And critically, they can't get any kind of archer support at all. You see, meanwhile, I have crossbows all the way up on this bank. These guys are all firing off the enemy's flank. They do have some horse archers sort of peppering these guys with arrows. But I've got like 120 archers on the side here and a huge line of infantry. And again, critically, the enemy can't shoot at us because of this ridge, right? You see how the ridge, there's no way for them to get archers up. I see a few guys get some shots off, but we're just going to aggressively push into these fucks, right? If you position at the edge of the ridge like this, they really can't do a lot of ammo archer crossbow damage to you. Got my shield up. Okay, now what I want to do is actually physically send guys right into the face of these fuck archers, right? They're just sitting there shooting at us, or at least hoping to get some shots off. I got my shield up. I see even more archers down the hill, and I see arrows by the thousands coming after me, all trying to get that Jarl bounty. I'm even going to charge with the horse archers here. What I want to do in this situation is absolutely steamroll all these fuck archers. They're kind of spread out over about 100 yards. Look at my infantry here. I've got heavy infantry in front of me. What I want to do with them basically is push them forward and drag these archers behind. So I'm literally telling my infantry to go in the direction of downhill And then what we'll do basically with these archers is follow this train of death, right? You see these, it's like 3-man deep. A lot of them are still elite troops because we were only on our very first reinforcement wave. Look at this position. The enemy's in a bad spot. And we are just going to shove down this hill with this ferocious group. It's the 8th Corps and the 6th Corps. And then once we have a little bit of space, then I can set my crossbow up so then the enemy's really getting butt fucked. They're going to have guys above them shooting at them. See these guys slipping through the cracks. The 8th Corps, we can mop these guys up. I've got these guys charging now. They're charging downhill. You know, meanwhile, again, the crossbowmen are above us, raining death. The screen is all green. You can see the bolts flying from over our head. I think the enemy's already routing. Well, that's because this was such a fucking ass whipping. That's amazing. They're already routing so far. I mean, I saw hardened Vlandian crossbow in there. That means they had tier 4 troops, and they're already routing. Look at these guys. They're all eager to get a few shots off on the cowards. My infantry is pursuing. You know, it's strange though. There's infantry or archers down there that are skirmishing with us. I'm getting shot. I think I could just hit tab here and accept that this battle is over. But just for the sake of tactics, I think we'll play this out for a little bit. Like I said, it's really strange that the enemy would rout that early. Like, I don't know how. I've lost a little sense of time here. Maybe this battle is 18 to 20 minutes. You know, I've still got elite troops. I've still got elite archers with ammunition, and the enemy is giving it up. So we'll pursue a little bit like this was a real battle, at least for a moment. I got to steal your horse, dude. Don't worry. I'll buy your mistress some nice jewelry from the sack of the next city that we take. No, they aren't going to participate and fight. Evidently, they've had enough. So if you don't know, the system that causes an enemy to rout like this mostly has to do with, and they get a fresh infantry. Look at, they get fresh reinforcements right in front of me. You know, again, sort of subpar game dynamics. Look at how long this line is. It stretches like from here to China. Anyways, to finish that point, so when your enemy is in a situation where they're getting absolutely destroyed, I mean 10 deaths for any one time that they killed somebody, they will rout even if it's early in the battle. It's basically like, I mean, it does make sense too. The troops are like, what the fuck is going on here? We outnumber them worse than 2 to 1, and yet they're the only ones killing us. Our commander must be incompetent. Something is wrong. And so just like real life, like a lot of your troops would be highly demoralized in that situation. There, I got this one badass of the 8th Corps left. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is the Cav. Here, dude. You can have your horse again, dude. Very honorable to give the Jarl your horse there for a few minutes. That was funny. He just stood there diligently with his horse. Now I see the enemy coming in. Anyways, if you defeat their morale so badly to the point where they flee, one of the advantages is I'm certain I can hold the tab button right now, and this battle will basically be over. Even in the middle with these guys attacking, it's kind of a buggy process of the game. When an enemy routs in a bad situation like this, I can just hide behind my shield. No, you're not going to see me hiding a lot. Sorry, hiding is not really a word that's part of our lexicon. The enemy basically, though, will rout when it's getting its ass kicked this bad. And, of course, the advantage of that is pretty simple. All of these troops that we're fighting here, we don't technically have to fight. I'm fighting these guys out of sort of competitive spirit for the game, a little sportsmanship. Because I think I could just hit tab here, and all these units would just be captured. The battle would be effectively over. I don't have to actually fight these guys. But still, we're going to kind of play this out. You see me doing this a lot. I just got these guys pushing up like linemen. We're suffering some losses. You know, maybe I'll regret this if we lose like the next battle because we have 10 guys too few to win it. But still, today this was a massive rout. Vlandia and Khuzait, 2 kingdoms from basically the opposite side of the map. At this stage, again, the enemy's sort of pressing in on all sides. I definitely feel a little bit like Napoleon in 1814, where all of his enemies are allied. They're all pressing in on different sides. You know, he's got a very difficult situation on his hand. That said, we continue to absolutely mangle the enemy in these large battles. It's been kind of fun to see, a fun and a great challenge to see just what we can overcome. To this point, right, we've had some losses, but for the most part, we are still whipping ass, still kicking the enemy's ass and taking names, even when they gang up on us with multiple kingdoms. So stay tuned for more battles like this. Our campaign may or may not be coming to a dramatic end. It's hard to know exactly how it's going to go. I've gone from about 15 cities and 20 castles. Now I think we have 3 cities and maybe 5 castles. So we'll continue to play out our campaign along the way. Hopefully I can show you some gigantic battles like this. This is one of the largest ones I've ever seen. We'll definitely continue to show advanced tactics on our channel. We'll try to give historic analogs to any battle that we can. We'll behead some guys. We'll do some swearing. We'll talk some violent shit. And hopefully you're entertained by this all. Thanks again for watching, fellas, and I'll see you guys next time.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?